In the oldest stories, there's a well, hidden beneath the roots of the world tree, Yggdrasil, where time and thought intertwine. It is called Mímir's well. Its waters are said to contain all the wisdom of the cosmos, the memories of gods, and the blueprints of creation itself. But its wisdom does not come freely. When Odin, the All-Father, came seeking truth, Mímir demanded a price, the price of vision itself. To drink from the well, Odin had to give up an eye. He tore it from his own face and dropped it into the dark water. And as it sank, something strange happened. He began to see, not with his eyes, but with his mind. What did Odin truly lose that day? And what did he gain? Maybe this myth isn't about a god's sacrifice at all, but about our own. Maybe the well is not buried in the earth, but within us, in the quiet beneath our thoughts, in the stillness we've forgotten how to find. Every age has its distractions. In Odin's time, it was the chaos of the 9 realms. In ours, it is the infinite noise of screens, messages, and obligations. We are surrounded by information and starving for wisdom. We are constantly connected, yet profoundly unaware. Our minds, fractured into fragments, never descend deep enough to drink from the well. But here's the secret. The well still exists. It's not in a forest or at the foot of a sacred tree. It's in a closed room, a silent dawn, a focused hour where the world falls away and only your work remains. The modern name for that well is deep work. To work deeply is to return to something ancient. It is an act of worship, a ritual of attention. It's the modern form of sacrifice, not of flesh, but of distraction. And if you can endure the silence long enough, something awakens in that darkness. Clarity, purpose, and power. The kind of vision Odin gained when he stared into the well and saw the reflection of all worlds. This is a map, a 14-day descent to rediscover that sacred focus. A journey from noise to stillness, from surface to depth, from blindness to sight. But as every myth warns, no great wisdom comes without cost. So before you begin, ask yourself, what are you willing to give up to see clearly? Because this journey will demand something of you. Your comfort, your certainty, your endless craving for novelty. But in return, it will give you something far greater. The ability to see your own potential with unclouded eyes. The story of Odin is not ancient history. It's the story of every creator, thinker, and seeker who's ever asked, what could I become if I stopped running from silence? You're about to find out. To understand the price of true vision, we do not need gods. We need to look at those who dare to walk where no one else would. Real people, brave, determined. Consider someone who became a titan in her own era. A figure whose name echoes in classrooms and laboratories. Marie Curie. 2 Nobel Prizes. A name etched into history. An icon. But what we do not see is the well she had to dig for herself. The invisible sacrifice no one applauded. Imagine a laboratory, cold, damp, almost abandoned in Paris. A place a visitor described as halfway between a stable and a potato cellar. It is there among tons of raw pitchblende that Curie and her husband embarked on a Herculean task, isolating a single, new element, radium. The work was not glamorous. It was brutal, physical, relentless, stirring vats of toxic material for hours, day after day, for years. Her hands were burned, her body scarred, her health risked for knowledge she could barely comprehend. She faced poverty, academic prejudice, a constant gnawing exhaustion whispering, "Give up." Friends begged her to take the easier path, but she could not. She was driven by what she called a disinterested curiosity, a pure, relentless need to know. That was the price of vision. Her comfort? Lost. Her health? Sacrificed. Her time? Entirely given to the well she dug herself. Here lies the first lesson of the well. Focus is not an intellectual trick. It is a sacrifice. Marie Curie's sacrifice was not a single dramatic act. Like Odin plucking out his eye, it was 1,000 small no's said every single day. No to gatherings she could not attend. No to a warm, comfortable home. No to the doubts whispering in her ear. And in our modern world, sacrifices take other forms. But the principle is the same. To achieve deep work, you must first choose what you are willing to give up. The endless scroll. The next episode. The casual yes that clouds your focus. These are the things that blur your vision. So, the first question on this journey is not how to focus. It is, what am I willing to sacrifice to see clearly? Before you can learn to work deeply, you must create the space. You must be willing to pay the price. But think of it not as a loss, but as an offering made at the edge of your own inner well, in exchange for the clarity you seek. And remember, sacrifice is only the entry fee. The real work begins after you cross the threshold, after you have earned the right to drink from the waters of the well. Are you ready to enter? To discover what you are truly willing to sacrifice, and what you can gain in return. Once the price is paid, once the distractions are sacrificed, you earn the right to practice. But what does that practice really look like? Is it just about putting in the hours? No, it's about the quality of those hours, the intensity, the intention, the deliberate choices that make each second count. For this, we leave the quiet lab behind and step onto the burning basketball court. To a man who treated work as ritual, Kobe Bryant. Everyone knows Kobe worked hard, but few understand how he worked. And this is where the secret lies. He called it blackout work. It wasn't just about showing up at 4 a.m. It was about what he did when no one else was watching. The moments when the world faded, and nothing existed but the ball, the court, and his own relentless will. He would focus on a single move, a pivot, a footwork adjustment, a fadeaway jumper. Hundreds, sometimes thousands of times. Not mindlessly, not mechanically. Each repetition was alive, charged with attention, with care. He engaged in what Anders Ericsson called deliberate practice. Feel the imbalance in your stance. See the ball hit the rim at the wrong angle. Adjust your elbow by a fraction of an inch. Shift your foot a fraction of a centimeter. Do it again, and again, and again. He wasn't just shooting hoops. He was dissecting the physics of perfection, studying cause and effect, analyzing failure, embracing mistakes as information. This is deep work in motion, a state of distraction-free concentration, where cognitive and physical skills are pushed to the absolute limit. The formula is simple, yet profound. High-quality focus, multiplied by time, equals skill. Most people only see the time part. 8 hours at a desk, 10 hours in front of screen. But their focus is fragmented, scattered into a dozen tiny pieces. Emails, notifications, social media, messages. Every ping steals a fraction of your energy, a fraction of your clarity. Kobe understood a truth we often forget. 1 hour of pure, deliberate practice is worth more than 5 hours of distracted effort. Each deep work session you schedule is your 4 a.m. workout, a sacred moment, not just to do the work, but to transform the work. So as you embark on your 14-day journey, don't just block out time, block out intention. Before each session, ask yourself, what is the one skill I am truly trying to improve right now? What does success look like for this single block of time? Are you simply writing an article? Or are you crafting a compelling introduction, better than the last one? Are you just coding or refining your work until it is cleaner, more efficient, and elegant? Ask yourself, what distractions will I sacrifice to reach this level of focus? Which small, easy yes will I refuse today in service of a bigger goal? This is the Mamba mentality applied to the mind. An obsessive, unwavering commitment to getting better, one focus session at a time. But even the Mamba mentality cannot survive a world designed to break it. Social media, endless messages, constant interruptions. The world is not built for focus. To protect your attention, you need more than willpower. You need a fortress. And here's another truth. Mastery is lonely. It asks you to leave comfort behind, to embrace struggle, to face yourself in the silence, to confront the doubt whispering, why bother? But every repetition, every small adjustment, every deliberate hour is a deposit into the account of skill, strength, and confidence. So I ask you, what is your pivot? What is your fadeaway jumper? What single skill could you dedicate yourself to today without distraction, with full attention? This is your invitation to step into the court, to step into your own ritual of mastery, and to start building your fortress one intentional, focused hour at a time. This is where we begin to build the walls of our own Mímir's well. A fortress not made of stone, but of discipline, ritual, and sacred boundaries. A fortress to protect our focus from the endless siege of the modern world. Our guide through this chapter is Cal Newport, a professor of computer science at Georgetown, a best-selling author and a father. By every modern measure, he should be buried under emails, notifications, and endless demands. But he isn't, because he has built his fortress, brick by brick, habit by habit. He has no social media accounts. He works in silence. He lives by rhythm, not by reaction. He's not hiding from the world. He's protecting his attention, that most fragile and precious resource. Now, imagine your own fortress. The giants of noise, the myths called them Jotuns, are all around you. They wear new faces now. The ping of a message, the buzz of a notification, the shimmer of a screen asking for just one more scroll. Each tiny sound is a crack in your wall. Each glance at your phone leaks a drop of your mental energy into the void. Cal Newport argues something radical. You cannot fight this war with willpower alone. You need a system. You need a rhythm. Something that transforms focus into ritual. That rhythm is the 25-5 protocol. 25 minutes of pure, undistracted creation. 5 minutes of deliberate rest. For 25 minutes, you do one thing and one thing only. You silence the world. Your phone is gone. Your door is closed. You tell yourself, and everything beyond your walls, for these moments, I am unavailable. I am at the well. You work with total immersion, not forever, but for this sacred sprint. When the timer rings, you stop. No exceptions. You step away. You breathe. You stretch. You let your eyes wander. Your mind drift. You do not check one quick thing. You allow your brain to recover, to consolidate what it has just built in silence. This is not time management. It is energy management. By working in pulses, you align yourself with the brain's natural cycles. Periods of deep concentration, followed by renewal. You are not forcing your mind. You are training it, teaching it to recognize the rhythm of deep focus. On this 14-day journey, your task is simple and sacred. Build your fortress. Start with just one cycle, then two. Make it a ritual. When you close your door, when you silence your phone, that small gesture becomes powerful. It's the sound of your drawbridge rising. It's a vow whispered to yourself. This time is sacred. But remember, building the wall once is easy. Maintaining it every day is where most fail. Discipline is not born in a single act. It grows through repetition. Each 25-minute session is a brick. Each pause a breath. And slowly, your mind learns. This is the rhythm of mastery. So today, raise the drawbridge, protect your inner world, and drink deeply from your own Mímir's well. There is a dangerous myth we have all been told, the myth of the lightning strike. That one perfect moment of divine energy, when motivation descends from the heavens, and suddenly everything changes. We wait for it. We dream of it. We imagine waking up one morning filled with boundless inspiration, ready to write the book, start the business, learn the language, or finally become the person we always meant to be. But that moment never comes. And if it does, it flashes and disappears, leaving us in deeper darkness than before. Motivation is like lightning in a storm. Brilliant, powerful, breathtaking, but gone in a heartbeat. You cannot build a life around a lightning bolt. It is too wild, too rare, too unpredictable. To survive the long wilderness of a real journey, you need a different kind of fire. Not the sudden blaze of inspiration, but the slow burn of discipline. The ember that glows quietly, long after the storm has passed. It is the humble, unseen courage of showing up when no one is watching, of doing the work when every part of you wants to stop. This is where science meets the ancient virtue of endurance. And the one who gave it a name is psychologist Angela Duckworth. She called it grit. Duckworth wanted to understand why some people persist through impossible conditions, while others, equally talented, simply give up. So she went to one of the most demanding places on Earth, West Point Military Academy, a place designed to test the limits of human will. There, new cadets faced a brutal 7-week initiation, known as Beast Barracks. Sleep deprivation, exhaustion, endless drills, the constant breaking and rebuilding of the spirit. The Academy measured everything: SAT scores, leadership potential, fitness, intelligence. And yet, none of it could predict who would endure and who would quit. So Duckworth searched deeper. She studied athletes, teachers, business leaders, even contestants in the National Spelling Bee. And the pattern was clear. Talent didn't predict success. IQ didn't. Charm didn't. The one factor that stood above all the rest was grit. That quiet blend of passion and perseverance. For long-term goals, passion, she found, is not the excitement of a new idea. It's the steady compass that keeps pointing north, even when the path disappears. It's the flame that refuses to die, no matter how many times the wind tries to snuff it out. And perseverance, that's the courage to take one more step, even when you can't see what lies ahead. It's the patience to live life like a marathon, not a sprint. It's the understanding that greatness is not born in one moment of genius, but woven slowly through thousands of ordinary days. This is where your 14-day journey transforms. Your calendar is no longer just a schedule. It becomes your training ground for grit. Each day is a new test, a new brick in the temple of your own discipline. But why is it so hard? Why do so many fail to show up? Because every day, a silent war is being fought inside your own mind. On one side stands your ancient brain, the part of you designed to seek comfort, pleasure, and safety. It craves quick rewards, the buzz of message, the sweet rush of a funny video, the ease of giving up. On the other side is your higher self, the dreamer, the builder, the one who wants to create something timeless. A book, a legacy, a better version of you. But in this battle, your primal brain usually wins, because the future is abstract and distraction is immediate. To win, you must give your future self a weapon, something small, concrete, and winnable today. Not write a novel someday, but complete 2 25 to 5 focus cycles today. That is a battle your higher self can win. This is the alchemy of your calendar. You take a vast, overwhelming dream and break it into a single, non-negotiable act. And when you complete that act, you mark it, a check, an X, a symbol of victory. Don't underestimate this ritual. That single mark is a declaration. It says, I did what I said I would do. Each mark sends a signal through your nervous system, a pulse of dopamine, telling your brain, I can trust myself. This is how confidence is built, not through words, but through proof. Each time you make that mark, you cast a vote for the person you wish to become. You are saying, I'm someone who shows up. I am someone who finishes what they start. James Clear, in Atomic Habits, said it best. The most effective form of motivation is progress. Your calendar becomes a map of that progress, a visual testament to your persistence. By day 5, when the fire of excitement has burned out, we arrive now at the final secret of the well, the one that separates the dreamer from the master. It isn't just about the courage to drink from it. It's about the wisdom to measure what you've gained. There's a fog that descends upon all of us at the end of a long, exhausting day. The fog of perceived productivity. We feel drained. We feel busy. And so we tell ourselves the comforting lie that busy means progress. We collapse on the couch, scroll through our phones, and whisper, I did enough. But then, quietly, a voice inside asks, what did I actually create today? That voice is truth, and it exposes the most dangerous trap on the path to mastery, the gap between activity and achievement. But what if you could burn away that fog? What if you could hold in your hand an instrument so clear and so honest that it could separate illusion from reality and reveal your true progress? That instrument exists, and our guide in learning to wield it is a master of habits himself, James Clear. Before he became the author of Atomic Habits, James Clear was just another writer staring into the abyss of the blank page. He could have waited for inspiration, the muse, the lightning strike, the mythical perfect moment. But he didn't. He built a system. He opened a spreadsheet. No magic, just data. Every day, he tracked his output with ruthless honesty. Words written, articles published, emails sent, growth in subscribers. The spreadsheet did not care about his feelings or his excuses. It reflected only what was real. And that brutal honesty became his mirror. A mirror that didn't flatter, but taught. He wasn't waiting for motivation to appear. He was engineering it. He built a feedback loop so powerful that the act of measuring progress became its own form of fuel. Every small increase, every data point, became proof that the system was working. And the system became the muse. Now, let's be honest. The idea of measuring yourself is terrifying because somewhere inside, a quiet voice whispers, "Don't look. What if I'm not as productive as I think? What if I'm not good enough?" That voice isn't truth, it's fear. It's your ego trying to protect itself from clarity. But measurement is not a judgment. It's not a report card from a cruel teacher. It's a diagnostic from a wise physician. It isn't saying, "You failed." It's saying, "Here's where you are, and you can't reach your destination if you don't first have the courage to mark your place on the map." The numbers are not your judge. They're your compass. They're your most honest friend, because they have no agenda other than truth. And truth is the only ground on which real growth can stand. So for your 14-day journey, you will become the scientist of your own mind. You need only 3 simple, sacred metrics. First, time and deep work. This is your currency of mastery. Not time spent at your desk, but real, focused, uninterrupted minutes, where the world disappears. 425 to 5 cycles. 100 minutes. Write it down. Feel the ink press into the paper. This is the measure of your devotion. Second, task completion. Each session, you made yourself a promise. A small, clear, specific goal. Did you honor it? Yes or no? That's all. It's not about perfection. It's about integrity. Did you keep your word to yourself? Third, distraction count. Your mindfulness metric. For the first few days, keep a simple tally on paper. Each time your mind drifts, each time you feel the twitch to check your phone, make a mark. Do not see it as failure. See it as awareness. Each mark is you catching yourself in the act and choosing presence again. At first, these are just numbers, lines and marks on a page, but slowly they begin to speak. They tell a story, your story. Patterns emerge from the noise. You'll notice that your deep work peaks in the morning, that distractions fall in the afternoon, that your focus strengthens like a trained muscle. And one day, you will see something beautiful. Your distraction count shrinking, your focus time expanding, the fog lifting. This is not coincidence. This is feedback. Psychologists call it the positive feedback loop. Your brain, built to love progress, sees the numbers improve, feels the dopamine rise, and whispers, "Yes, more of this." And so it becomes easier, not because you force yourself, but because your system rewarded you for clarity. This is where it all comes together. The sacrifice of Curie, the deliberate practice of Kobe, the fortress of Newport, the grit of Duckworth, all distilled into one measurable system, a living map of your becoming. Do you remember Odin's story? When he approached Mímir's well, he sacrificed one eye, his vision of the outer world, to gain a deeper sight within. Your metrics are that second eye. They let you see what others cannot. They reveal the invisible patterns of your own consciousness. They show you how energy flows, where focus thrives, and where it decays. They are not just numbers. They are the sacred language of self-awareness. One eye sees the task before you. The other sees the process beneath it. Together, they give you true vision. Measurement transforms you from a passive participant in your own life into the deliberate architect of your evolution. So start measuring, not to judge yourself, but to understand yourself, not to create pressure, but to create peace. Because the well of focus is not found through wishful thinking. It is built, day by day, number by number, mark by mark. And when you finally look back on your data, you will not just see numbers. You will see the evidence of a life lived with intention, a map of your own becoming. And that, more than anything else, is the true measure of mastery. And so, we arrive at the end of our map, at the edge of the well. The journey to Mímir's well was never just a myth. It was always a choice made not once, in a flash of inspiration, but quietly, humbly, repeatedly, over 14 days. It begins with a sacrifice, the relentless fire of Marie Curie's curiosity, burning so brightly, it eclipses the world's distractions. It is forged in the obsessive precision of Kobe Bryant, who understood that mastery is not born from time spent, but from attention paid. Can you feel these forces converging within you now? This journey has armed you with a fortress of focus, built from the monastic rituals of Newport, and sustained by the stubborn, unshakable grit of Angela Duckworth, who taught us to find victory in the simple act of showing up, one day at a time, and finally is brought into the light by the unflinching honesty of James Clear's metrics, the instrument that separates the illusion of busyness from the reality of progress. These are not just stories. They are now a part of you. At the end of his journey, the god Odin returned to the world, forever changed. He returned not with 2 eyes, but with one, an infinite wisdom. He saw less of the world's flickering, chaotic surface, but he understood its deep, eternal currents. This is the transformation that awaits you. After these 14 days, you will not return to your life with more hours in your day. That is the fool's promise of the productivity gurus. No, you will return with something far greater, more life in your hours. You will feel the shift from a life of fractured distraction to one of deep, meaningful presence. What will you do with this newfound stillness? What ideas, buried beneath years of noise, will finally have the silence they need to speak? The world around you will not have changed, but your way of being in it will. Your capacity to shape it, to create within it, will be reborn. But here lies the final revelation. The well is not a destination. It is a practice. The 14-day journey is not the end. It is the beginning of the real work. The world will not stop trying to pull you away. The giants of noise will always be clawing at the walls of your fortress. The true test is not whether you can complete a challenge, but whether you will return to the well. Again and again, long after the motivation has faded. This is the ultimate choice, the one that only you can make. Will you choose the fleeting, scattered light of distraction, or the deep, quiet glow of creation? It is a choice between a life lived for you by algorithms and notifications, or a life designed by you, for you. The path is now clear. The tools are in your hands. The waters of the well are waiting. They have always been waiting, and the price was never as terrible as the myths made it seem. You do not need to sacrifice an eye. You only need the courage to open the one that has been closed all along, the inner eye, the eye of intention. If this journey has spoken to a deep and quiet part of you, know that you are not alone. Our exploration is only beginning. There are more maps to draw, more territories of the human spirit to chart. But for now, your own journey calls. The map has served its purpose. Now, go find your well.